Morning to you all. Today we are reading from Judges chapter 18. We have Pastor Joshua sharing. Do not fall into a generation who robs. When there was no king in Israel, man arises and keeps robbing. Yesterday, we read on Micah. He was a thief. His mother had a bad relationship with him. He stole money from silver from his mother, and his mother cursed him. And then took some of the silver and made it into an idol. He turned from a thief to a religious center. His household, there were a lot of idols in his household. And a young Levite went to his place, his house, to look for a job. He gave money, clothing, and food, filled the hand of the Levite. So that young Levite took Micah as his father. So Micah, the Levite was like a son to Micah. The Levite was hired to do something this Levite should not have done. In last chapter, the Levite should never have been hired. The Levite should never have been a priest. But a thief, basically a thief started up a church, so we speak with modern language. His own house turned into a church. And some people were willing, I have calling from God, so I will come and serve God, or like you in your house. So the one who started this church, the religious center, became a boss, and the preacher was hired by this thief, this boss. What a pity. Be extra careful. This generation is the same. As a preacher, we are serving God. But the church system today make a preacher became a hired worker. That's a big problem. Who is in charge of money, the source of finance? He is in charge. He has the right to say. The one who gives money to hire anyone, he is the boss. If we, being a preacher, we serve God for money, we can never be a preacher. We can never be a preacher. Then we are not serving God. Last chapter, one thing I didn't mention in last chapter. In the original text, the young Levite. Let's turn to chapter 17. Let's turn to chapter 17, verse 11. Then the Levite was content to dwell with the man, and the young man became like one of his sons to him. The young man to him, to Micah, became like one of his sons. The Chinese would say that Micah considered this young man as a son, look after the young Levite. But in the original text, the young Levite was content to dwell with the man, Micah, took his money, took money from him. And this young man to Micah became like one of his sons. That's the original meaning. Young Levite took Micah as his own father. Micah hired him, gave him an ephod, gave him money, gave him clothing, gave him food, feed him. So this boss, oh, you become priest at my house, I will cover all your expenses in food, lodging, and living. And you also have some petty cash. Gave him everything he needed as a living. So this young man was content to dwell with Micah. He got a job. He got a job in chapter 17. But that was not good. But that's what that happened in the time of Judges. But now we are on reading chapter 18. So in chapter 17, it says that they thought that it will be a blessing to them, that God will, a thief with stolen money, made an idol, made his own house into a religious center, worshipping idols. That's what happened. He thought the Lord will be good to him in this way. He thought. They were so ignorant. They didn't know anything about God. They were in such a situation. We saw a family here, but now in chapter 18, this situation will going further downhill. Well, just like for the judges, one is worse than the other one. The one is worse than the previous one. Micah was like that. The house of Micah, one family. In chapter 18, not just the family of Micah, his family, is actually getting worse. So Micah was a thief in his family, but now the tribe of Dan, he was the thief in the whole tribe, the Israel. Right here, there, and then, the whole tribe turned into thief. It's not good to be a thief, right? But worse still, they thought that by being a thief, they receive blessings. They thought that by being a thief, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But they even thought that God would bless them. Oh. It's absolutely like outrageous in this situation. The book of Judges is telling us how bad that situation, that generation was. The title today that do not turn into a generation who robs, but it can't really fully express the insights I received from this chapter. They thought that by robbing, they thought the robbing was okay, robbery was okay, and they thought that it would be blessed. Even for Hong Kong people, there is a Chinese saying that, if you miss out of any benefits, it's like you better lose your whole family. That is really hard. It's an idiom. It's good to have a head start, something like this. Don't miss out on any good things, any benefits. In when I was young, there was no MTR, no the subway, the train, so we always took bus. You need to queue up to get on the bus, right? Well, it takes time to queue up. So we must learn how to jump the queue. So we pretended we didn't know we were jumping the queue, but actually we did jump the queue. It was wrong. But we thought, oh, how clever I am. Wow. We took pride in ourselves being able to jump the queue. Well, other people do the same. If we don't do it, then we are not able to make a head start. Something like this. We think that's good. We must repent today. That was our sinful nature. In the book of Judges, robbery was okay at the time, and they considered it blessed to be a robber. God was in their picture, actually, in their consideration. Oh, imagine now you sin. God, you do not look at me when I sin. Please turn away. When I was playing mahjong, even when I became Christian, I still liked playing mahjong. So when I was playing mahjong, I was saying to God, do not come back now. Jesus, do not return. Give me time to enjoy in sins. And I care nothing. Let me play my round, 4 rounds, 8 rounds, and 16 rounds. But now, in the time of judges, they thought that God would bless their robbing. I couldn't think of a better title. Do not turn into a generation who robs. Or do not think robbery is blessed. Will be blessed, something like this. Yep. I divided chapter 18 into 3 paragraphs. Verse 1 to 10, the first paragraph. Seek the target to rob. The Danites sent out spies. Verse 1 is very important. Starting from chapter 17, 4 times it appeared, in those days there was no king in Israel. Chapter 17, chapter 18 is the same subunit, and chapter 19 to 21 is another unit. The third paragraph of the book of Judges, which we mentioned yesterday, basically is also divided into sub-paragraph, the subunits. 17 and 18 is one story. So a thief of a family to a thief to a tribe. They consider being a thief stealing things as blessed. That's the time of Judges. What happened? Why did that happen? Because there was no king in Israel. In those days, there was no king in Israel. That's the reason. There was no king, no judge. What happened when they have no judge? And in those days, the tribe of the Danites was seeking an inheritance for itself to dwell in, for until that day their inheritance among the tribes of Israel had not fallen to them. There was no king in Israel. There was no judge. And the judges, one after the other, they were getting worse. At the end, they didn't even have judges. There was no judge. That was a totally hopeless generation. Under that circumstances, that tribe of Danites got no inheritance. The tribe of Danite, after the land allotment, they were given the allotment. They did not possess the land given them. That was the land of Philistine. The Philistines occupied the land. They did not have the strength. They were not powerful to conquer Philistines. God raised up Samson. During the time of Samson, Danites was living between the Soar and Eshtaol. That's in verse 2. They were living between Sora and Eshtaol. They were the borders of Judah, or the territory of Judah. And then we talk about Manasseh Dan. That's the camp of Dan. Basically, it was part of Judah. It was not the land of Dinite yet. Under that situation, God raised up Samson, but Samson did not fulfill his calling. As I described yesterday, Samson was like a long-haired, muscular man. That's a picture of Samson. For his own flesh, he was running around. He could have possessed the land for the tribe of Dan. When he died, he destroyed many powers of the Philistines. If he had been good enough, Samson, he was able to drive out Philistine in the land of Dan, so that the tribe of Dan will be able to possess the land allotted to them in the time of Joshua. Samson was the last judge in the book of Judges. God had a great, perfect plan for Samson. The strength he received from God, the blessings he received from God, was the greatest among all. But yet, he forsook God. He was the most far away from God among all judges. He didn't have any moral standard. He was totally senseless. He did what was right in his eyes. He wanted to have what was good in his eyes. And at that time, there was no king in Israel. And the Danites did not receive the land. They did not receive inheritance among the Israelites. They still dwelled in the territory of Judah and relied on Judah. They could not drive out the Philistines, so what should they do? They were unable to prevail against Philistines. So they just robbed. They robbed those who were like vulnerable. But that's not from God. That's not what God gave him. Verse 2, so the children of Dan sent 5 men of their family from their territory, men of valor from Sora and Eshtaol, to spy out the land and search it. They said to them, go and search the land. Here, the children of Dan. Here, in verse 1, it states the tribe of the Danites, and then here, the children of Dan. Dan, the word Dan. The root of it, the root of Dan, means judge. That means to judge. When there was no king in Israel, there was no judge in Israel. The children of Dan arose and walked on their own ways. They arose and judged for themselves. Here, the children of Dan became thieves. I have not received the land from God. So they sent 5 men of their family, men of valor, to spy out the land and search it. They would search for wherever would be suitable for them. The land given from God, they didn't want it. They gave up on the inheritance from God. They want to search the land for themselves. So they went. Because of the time, I need to make it simple. So they went to the mountains of Ephraim, and they heard about this religious center in the house of Micah. God was there. They were serving God there, so they heard. So they came to the house of Micah and lodged there. To the mountains of Ephraim, to the house of Micah. And they said, oh, many people came here to worship God. So they heard, oh, the young Levi. They recognized the voice of the young Levi. Verse 3. Oh, that was a Levite. They recognized the voice of a young Levite. So they recognized that this Levite was not from the mountain of Ephraim. Why? He recognized the voice is from Judah. That accent. That's the accent because the Levites was born in Judah. Remember, Danites was living in the territory of Judah. They could discern the accent of this young Levite. Oh, this Levi was not from the mountains of Ephraim. He was from Judah. The voice, the accent is of the south. It's not of the north. Southern accent. And ask him, where did you come from? Who brought you here? What are you doing here? What do you have here? What benefits do you get here? They all come from the south, remember? Yeah. So the young Levite told them everything. Oh, Micah gave me ephod, gave me money, gave me clothing, gave me food, and give me lodging place. So, and then they say, why don't you seek God for me? What should we do? What is our way ahead? And then the Levi said, the priest, go in peace. The presence of the Lord be with you on your way. But the Levi was saying, by idols, not by God. It's totally against the law of God. But they were so ignorant, they did not know God. And they thought those idols were God. They were worshipping idols, but they thought they were asking God. They were seeking the idols, but they thought they were seeking God. The answer was not from God. The land given by God was the land of the Philistines, but they did not want it. They want to search for the new land. So they came here and then they saw idols in that place. The law, there was a Levite. And the priests, they sought God there. And then they went their way. So they continued to search the land. And they came to a place. And they came to Laish. Verse 7 is interesting here. They saw the people who were there, how they dwelt safely in the manner of Sidonians, quiet and secure. There were no rulers in the land who might put them to shame for anything. They were far from the Sidonians, and they had no ties with anyone. Verse 7. So, quiet and secure, that's the blessings that the Danites were hoping. And secure, quiet and secure. Psalm 113. God. So men were lifted up from hips and seated with the prince, and the joyful mother of children at home is the same, just secure, quiet. It's a blessing. Careless, carefree, full of security, quiet and secure. There was no hustle, no strives. The Danites was under oppression in the land given by God. They were oppressed by the Philistines. And throughout the time of all the judges, they were oppressed by foreign countries. Maybe the Midianites, Ammonites, Moabites, and then the Philistines, they kept oppressing the Danites. They were not secure, they were not quiet. They were so troubled by it. But that's the land given by God. They didn't want it. They want to find somewhere quiet and secure and safe in the manner of Sidonians. So it was a big city, actually. It's a big city, Laish, very prosperous, good economy, but there were no rulers in the land. They were all laid back, and it's a rich and wealthy life they were enjoying. No rulers, so no one will put them to shame. And they were far from the Sidonians. Maybe that's the place belonging to Sidon. But Sidon is so far from it, they could not care much about it. And they had no allies, no ties with anyone. So the Dinahs was like, wow, what a good place. That's the place I want. We want. So they returned to Sora and Ashtaol. Arise, let us go up against them, for what we have seen the land. Verse 10, when you go, you will come to a secure people and a large land, for God has given it into your hands, a place where there is no lack of anything that is on the earth. Verse 10. That is the land given by God to us. No lack of anything. You have everything you want. You are secure. And it's like right at your fingertip. Why don't you go ahead? They searched for such a place and they found it. Now they have their target. Now the second paragraph, verse 11 to 26, that's the second paragraph. They looted the idols. They robbed the priests. Verse 11 and 26, told us a great story. How they robbed a priest is more detailed than how they robbed a city. So basically, the book of Judges was telling us that they were robbing blessings. They rob even in the way of God. Who can communicate with God? How can we communicate with God? How do we receive the blessing of God? They rob. In last chapter, one family robbed. Now the whole tribe robbed others. And the things they robbed, they thought they was like godly things. They robbed what they considered to be godly things. Verse 1 to 10 told us they were searching for their praise. What can they rob? How can they pride? They saw idols. They saw a land. And then verse 11 to 26, they robbed the idols. They also robbed the place. "600 men of the family of the Danites went from there, armed with weapons of war." Verse 11. And now they came up to the mountains of Ephraim, house of Micah. Verse 13, the religious center, house of Micah. So the 5 men told the 600 men, said to their brethren, do you know that there are in this house an ephod, household idols, a carved image, a molded image? Now therefore consider what you should do. Now consider what you should do. There was an ephod. You could seek God through an ephod. Household idols, visible, tangible idols, carved image, molded image, and carved image. They were powerful, the molded image and the carved image, very important. When you receive this, you receive power. Then you receive blessings. Think for yourself, what would you do? 600 men with their with their weapons. Okay, yeah, sure. So they turned aside there and came to the house of the young Levite men and saw the young Levites and greeted him. Shalom. So they asked, Are you well? Then, verse 16, the 600 men armed with their weapons of war who were of the children of Dan stood by the entrance of the gate and greeted the 5 men greeted the young Levites. And then 600 men, mighty men, strong men with arms. Levites, where do you think you can run away from us? How? It paints a picture in the original text. The 600 men, armed with their weapons of war, stood by the entrance of the gate, who were children of Dan. 600 men armed with weapons stood by the entrance of the gate. Who were they? Children of Dan. They were children of Dan. One tribe. They were robbers. They were thieves to rob idols. These are the detestable things devoted for destructions. So then the 5 men took the carved image, the ephod, the household idols, and the molded image. Verse 17. Under the protection of these armed men, 600 of them, and the priest stood at the entrance of the gate with the 600 men who were armed with weapons of war. Well, the priest couldn't dare to move. He was at the entrance, stood at the entrance of the gate. So the 5 men went into the house of Micah, took the carved image, the ephod, the household idols, and the molded image. The carved image, the ephod, the household idols, and the molded image appear 3 times. This group of these 600 men robbed carved image, the ephod, the household idols, and the molded image. They were robbing all these. It's a vivid description here. So the priest asked these 600 men and the 5 men, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, obviously they were robbing things. That's so obvious. 600 men armed with weapons, remember? And told this young Levite, be quiet. Shh. Put your hand over your mouth and come with us. Be a father and a priest to us. Is it better for you to be a priest to the household of one man, or that you be a priest to a tribe and a family in Israel? Verse 19. Shh. Come with us. Come with us. Be a father and a priest to us. The young Levites heard this. What Micah gave me, uh, 24 shekels of silver a year. Such 10 shekels of silver per year. That's verse 7, chapter 17. Wow, now it's a whole tribe. I will get pay rise. I am promoted. So a small company, okay? Now you are being hunted by a big family, big company, cross international company. One of the 12 big companies in Israel. Yeah, his heart was glad. Verse 20. So he took the ephod. Okay, these are my stuff. The ephod. Let me carry it. So he took the ephod, the household idols, the carved image, and took his place among the people. These are my duty. These are my stuff. So he carried them. He took them. A Levite was only getting a job. You know, nominal, he should be serving God, but he was not serving God. Serving God is only a way to make a living. But the children of Dan thought that it was good. They did not know anything about God. So Micah and also the men who were in the house near Micah's house gathered together and overtook the children of Dan, but they could not prevail against them because the children of Dan was much stronger than them. And the Danites said to Micah, the children of Dan, verse 25, do not let your voice be heard among us. Why are you talking to us this way? Lest angry men fall upon you and you lose your life with the lives of your household. They will attack you and kill your whole household. Do not let your voice be heard among us. Just like our modern man, nowadays we do the same. The whole tribe was robbing a family. We can see it here. A family, stealing within a family, robbing between the mother and the son, and now a tribe robbing a family. If you try to rob something, it's not the way out. You rob from others, people will rob from you. So Micah went back to his house, verse 26. And the children of Dan went their way. This is the tribe of robbers. They rob the priest, ephod, household idols, carved image, and molded image. Now they rob a place, set up idols for themselves. After they rob the idols, they rob the place and set up the city of idols. Verse 27 to 31. That's the third paragraph of chapter 18. So they went to Laish, to a people quiet and secure, and they struck them with the sword, edge of the sword, and burned the city with fire. That was robbery. Verse 30, then the children of Dan set up for themselves the carved image, and Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Manasseh, and Moses, and his sons were priests to the tribe of Dan until the day of captivity of the land. Verse 30. Verse 31, so the children of Dan set up for themselves Micah's carved image, which he made all the time the house of God was in Shiloh, in Laish. So they renamed the city as Dan. Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Manasseh, or Moses. So as in here, the New King James, it says the son of Manasseh, but some version says son of Moses. I would adopt, it says that the son of Manasseh and not the son of Moses. The tribe of Dan look for some other people to arise and take the position of priest, just like the young Levites. Just like Micah looking for the young Levites. What Micah did, the children of Dan did the same and even worse, to even greater extent. They robbed a piece of land, Laish, the city. They robbed people, the young Levites. The young Levites also, did he have a good ending? After they conquered the city of Laish and turned it into, did they really take the young Levi as their father, as their priest, as it says here in verse 19? No, the children of Dan went to set up, the son of Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Manasseh. They didn't keep the covenant with, or the agreement with these young Levites. They did not keep their words. Because they were all thieves. They were just thieves. They would not be faithful to their words, and they did not have good outcomes until the day of captivity of the land. At the end, this land was also in captivity. All the time that the house of God was in Shiloh, that's the time Micah's carved image which he made. It was not telling us that the image was good, the Micah's image was good. Or said he was not telling us that the Micah's image was good, the young Levites was having a good life. No. They did not have good ending, good outcome. Until the captivity of the land. They were being in captivity again. After the children of Dan took the land, the Laish, the young Levi disappeared. What happened to him? And then it's actually the son of Manasseh here. It's changed. Manasseh. Why Manasseh? And talk about the captivity of the land. Why? That's during the time of two kings. The tribe of Manasseh, the tribe of Ephraim, they had problems. The northern tribes had problems. They set up idols. Not only did they set up idols in Dan and in Bethel, Jeroboam, he set up idols in Bethel and also in Laish, in the city of Dan, and become the idol worship center in the north. And the author of the book of Judges tells us this land will be in captivity for sure. Those who rob others will be robbed. The word of God shall definitely come to pass. He was talking to the people in the time of two kings. Levites, priests, people. Who do you follow? Do you follow Bethel? Shiloh was also in Ephraim. Do you follow Ephraim? Or maybe to Laish, the city of Dan. Laish. Do you follow Jeroboam? Jeroboam, it was of the tribe of Ephraim. They set up idols. Ephraim, the tribe of Ephraim, ever since the book of Judges, the first idols was set up there in Laish. the golden calf in the wilderness by Israel was destroyed. But now Jeroboam set up 2 golden calves and said these were the Lord God. Jeroboam was ambitious, and he was well talented for his own sake, for the sake of economy. He wanted himself to quiet and secure. So he set up 2 idol centers, 2 golden calves. Israelites, who do you follow? The Levites follow Micah. What happened to him? Follow Micah, follow children of Dan. What happened to him? Now, this place set up idols. What was the outcome of the city? No, not good ending. So the time of the people of the 2 kings, Levites, priests, people, where do you want to go? And today, brothers and sisters, the whole world is in turmoil. Everywhere, there is problem everywhere. There are different political systems. Which one do you choose? Where do you go? The place you go, is it given by God? Just like these 5 men went to went to seek after idols. They thought they were seeking God. Today, are you truly seeking God, or you are just seeking after idols? Where is the place God gives you? Why do you not dwell in the place God gives you? If you cannot conquer the land, work harder. Go into the way of God, you will definitely possess the land. If you want to receive what is not from God, what will happen to you? You will be in captivity. Your ending will not be good. Brothers and sisters, how do we make decisions today? Do not fall into the situation. In those days, there was no king in Israel. The Lord is our God, our King. We follow Him. We need faith and courage. May God help you and help us. That's the end of the message today.